Lindsay and I have been together for, it will be 20 years. Now in May, actually the 1st of May. We will be married for 14 years in December. This is my husband, Lindsay.
This is my wife, Siaan.
Our journey started in 2005 when we were 18 years old. We met through friends and we had kind of a party lifestyle since we were only 18 years old. I can say definitely that Lindsay and I grew up together.
The funny thing is that she didn't actually want to be my girlfriend in the beginning. But because I'm a go-getter, I didn't stop at first 7 no's. But 20 years later, we have 3 kids.
And 3 dogs.
Not forgetting the dogs.
Our life is very busy. Our life is mostly unplanned, mostly. Children, there's so much going on. Everybody has extramural activities. We both have full-time jobs. And it's basically lots of chaos, lots of loudness, lots of love. And we wouldn't have it any other way. We've built this home together. Many mistakes along the way, but we've always been there to lift each other up.
It hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows though. I think a lot of it contributes to us meeting at a very young age. We were literally high school sweethearts because we studied together, we studied our matric finals together. We didn't really do much studying though, but we did pass. When we got married, it was all fun and games when we were girlfriend and boyfriend. 5 years after dating, on the 5th of May, we were 5 years, and I love numbers, and when I seen 3 5s, I was born on the 5th on the 4th day of October as well. So 5 is my lucky number, and I seen it as an opportunity that on the 5th day of the 5th month, and with 5 years dating, and 5 is my favorite number, I seen it as a sign that I should propose to Sarah. So I took her out for dinner, and I did everything that, I believe every special woman should experience, and a man going down on his knees to beg her, well, not beg her, but to show honor that he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, and that is exactly what I did. So I proposed to her, and she said yes. We were engaged for a year and a half, and we had the most amazing wedding. It was something out of this world, something that I didn't even expect we could do. We did it together. But I believe that Siaan deserved it because she was in for a hell of a ride.
We were married, we weren't married very long when we had our first child. our son. And
So you were actually engaged, you were actually pregnant
I was
at the
pregnant
wedding,
when we got married.
and she
but
didn't know that.
Didn't know. So we had Eli a few months into the marriage, which was quite trying and difficult because Lindsy and I had been used to like a party life, and we weren't even married long, and along came a little boy, which turned our lives upside down and changed everything. After Eli, like I say, everything changed.
Things went totally south. First of all, because we didn't know that Siaan was pregnant, when she was pregnant, and we were like newlyweds. So I expected to still be in the young party mode, but she was tired and she didn't know she was pregnant. So I still called her Oma. Ne? I told her that she's like a Oma now just because she's a granny, because she's married me now. Now she has papers on me, and now you're now gonna carry on like a Oma. And we were just a few months ago, we were young and vibey, but then the reality is she was actually pregnant at the moment at that time. In the beginning of our marriage, we had a brand new addition to the family, and a family that we didn't even know was about to begin. We didn't expect it. We had so many things coming all at once. Literally, the rain was pouring through the roof. We had a brand new baby, a brand new wedding, a brand new marriage, a brand new venture that we didn't even know what it holds. People speak about a honeymoon phase. We had no honeymoon phase because it seemed like everything just came crashing down. Or not crashing down, so many things, so many responsibilities that comes with marriage. And at the young tender age that we were, I don't believe that we were ready to handle such a responsibility. So there was a few fundamentals that should be instilled in every marriage that we didn't know about. We didn't know that we needed it. So we loved each other a lot. We had good times together, but there was key factors that make a marriage work that we didn't know about.
Love is definitely not enough. There's so much that Lindsy and I needed to learn. We still needed so much guidance. We were still children when we started dating. And 2 years after Eli was born, we had our first daughter. And we were still growing in our careers. We were still trying to, if you ask me, grow up on our own. And here we were growing up together. But basically, if you ask me, he was doing it on his own and I was doing it on my own. And then we added another addition 3 years later. So we were 30 years old with 3 children. And we thought we were making it work. Well, we were making it work. We thought that we were happy, but we faced many, many challenges. It was basically cycles repeating itself in our marriage. because, like Lindsay was saying, the fundamentals were not there. We weren't given proper direction, guidance, and eventually we got to a place in our marriage where trust was broken. Things happened that we didn't ever think we'd find ourselves in such a place. Betrayal, and we actually loved each other enough to decide together to get past that betrayal, stay together, not for the sake of the children, but because we loved each other. We decided to stay together. But our decision still wasn't enough. After the decision, it seemed as though things got even worse. And we were both in a panic. But in a panic by ourselves. He was dealing with it on his own, and so was I. And just drifting further and further apart when we had decided to stay together.
We reached the point of living separate lives in the same house, in the same vehicle all the time, in the same family, in the same church, in the same life. We lived separate lives. And even though in our minds we knew that, well, I knew that this is not what I expected, this is not what I imagined my life would be with the woman that I imagined my life with. I could see how our relationship was deteriorating to a point of looking at my kids and seeing that how it's affecting them as well. And it was at that point that my wife decided that, you know what, she can't do this to the kids. We can't do this to the kids. And we then reached I wouldn't say an agreement, but an option that seemed as though it was the right way out, the only way out. And my wife wanted to get a divorce. I think I wanted to too, because that seemed like it's the only way to deal with, the only answer to what we're facing. I don't think at that point that I loved her any less, and I don't believe she loved me any less. Did you? I don't think she loved me. I know now she didn't. But it reached a point that we knew that it's not only our lives that's now affected, but there's three other lives that's affected. Dogs weren't around that time. But I still had hope in my heart, and I believe Siaan had it too, because we held on even though everything and even everyone said, this is not working, you guys need to get divorced. Divorce is the only answer. It was
then when
Dr. Saunders,
she invited us to her marriage workshop, and it was kind of like
Saving Grace.
it was a saving grace, but I was doing it just to keep everyone happy. I wasn't doing it thinking it's gonna save our marriage. It's not what I thought was gonna happen. I done it for the sake of saying I tried. I can't be blamed. You know,
I had hope.
it wasn't even a last resort. It was just, let's just get this over and done with, sort of a thing.
And I could see that in the class. I think other people could see it too. We were not only two human beings on this earth that were facing the exact same thing. And that simplified our problem so much. Just seeing that we were not the only two human beings, because it felt as though we were the only two. I believe that we were the only two people on planet Earth that has to face what we were facing.
So dismally, getting everything
Yes.
wrong. And to be honest, there was one thing, if I had to say, that we took away from the workshop that changed our lives forever. And we carry it with us
Up to
even
this day.
now. I mean, that was a couple of years ago that we attended the workshop. We've now taken what Dr. Saunders had taught us about. It sounds so simple, but it's actually this
Phenomenal too.
one thing, communication. Just to communicate. She called it coffee time. And Lindsy and I now share a cup of coffee. Simple. It sounds simple, but it saved our marriage. Cup of coffee.
It taught me that it's not only about communication, can sometimes be misunderstood in a sense that you want to talk too much. But communication, coffee time taught me that communication is actually listening to. And how I basically used my coffee time was sometimes when my wife would call coffee time, I knew it was my time to keep quiet. So I would make my coffee extra hot so that if I should talk, I would have a sip to burn my tongue, and that would then remind me, you don't need to talk, you need to listen. And it then became part of, I didn't have to burn my tongue anymore, because then my brain came to a realization that it's not only about talking but listening. Something that I didn't ever think was a part of a marriage, because I thought, I'm the man, you must listen, you the woman. And I just wanted to talk. But at the same time that I wanted to talk, my wife had the same thoughts in her mind. I'm the wife, I'm the boss. So you will listen. You wear the pants, but I tell you which pants to wear. So we never ever found the tool to listen, and utilizing the tool that we received from Dr. Saunders at the marriage workshop has definitely made a difference, not only in our marriage but in our lives, in our kids' lives. It's saved a family, it's saving my children now, because they know now, yes, they don't know it's called coffee time, but I have instilled it in them. I've instilled the skill of communicating but understanding that communicating is not only about talking, it's about also listening to the other party and then acknowledging what that person is actually trying to say to you before responding. So, Dr. Saunders, I don't think
You understand the magnitude of what you're
what
doing.
you've done and what
Continue
you're
to
doing,
do.
it's not only saving marriages, it's far beyond that.
Saving families, it's saving generations. Just by teaching people the skill of communicating, listening. So we wanna thank you. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for inviting us to that workshop, because that workshop has changed our lives, and we hope that one day what you've done for us, we'll be able to pass on to other couples struggling in their marriages, and just keep this amazing thing that you are doing. We'd love to keep it going.
You've imparted knowledge to us that will never leave us. It will never leave my family. It will never leave my kids. They'll use it in their marriages because it's now become a part of our bloodline. And it's something that's going to be carried on because up to this day, we still utilize that tool. So thank you for being available to us to impart that knowledge, for being willing to impart your knowledge to us as a marriage, and for taking the time to teach us about coffee time. Talking about so much coffee time, I love my coffee. And
so we want to say thank you, Dr. Saunders, and thank you to our camera lady, our youngest girl, Eva. So when the camera seemed a bit iffy and butty, that was Eva. So
camera girl.
Thank you, camera girl. Credits
Coffee
to you.
time.
And
Great.
Lindsay, I want to invite you for a cup of
time.
coffee. Good night.